We must call these heinous attacks what they are, and they are attacks. And the people attacking us need to know the consequences will be severe when we find out who they are, when we get the attribution.
The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind.
They're in your head.
They know what you think.
Well, the people who follow the internet pretty closely, and certainly the victims of this technology know about it, but you're right, there's been a lot of research done into how to put voices into one's head. It was found long ago that if you can put a voice into someone's head, you can do several things. If I put a voice that's foreign to your normal thought pattern in your head, that becomes harassment. And the harassment over time will make you display signs of schizophrenia. When you go and tell people that you're hearing voices, we've been patterned to turnkey see that as schizophrenia and not even look to see if there's a legitimate source for it.
Obviously, if members of the general public are not aware of the existence of this technology, which many of them are not, most of them are not, they will conclude that this person must be crazy. And as a result, they will recommend psychological evaluation for that person. You can see the way this is going to go, and the way it is going right now. As good people, helpless people that are being abused and tortured and enslaved and experimented upon in America today, American citizens cry out for help from their fellow Americans, and their fellow Americans say, why don't you take some Prozac because we think you're schizophrenic? When this is a highly technical program, all of the symptoms are induced by a technology that is so fucking sophisticated, it is horrifying beyond description.
My name is Chaz Thompson, and I'm a targeted individual. Right now, the voices are saying, fuck you, Charles Thompson. 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 Over and over about 600 times an hour all day long.
They can live basically as you. On neuromonitoring, they can see what you see. They can feel what you feel. But they can't know what you know deep in your mind unless you think about it. That said, if you want to enter in a password or an alarm code or dial in your safe code, you can't do it without thinking it.
So It ended up, after 4 months, I ended up in a car, and they hit me so hard with a pulse that I dove out of the car and ran down and was standing on the side of the road screaming, holding on to the brad on top of my hat like this to be able to absorb electromagnetic energy, and screaming so loud. I ran down a road screaming so loud I thought I was going to die. I was just praying to God as I was running, and I dove on the ground, and I thought that I was going to die.
The mind is a battleground. The fight is in your mind. The mind is a battleground. The fight is in your mind.
What I'm dealing with is people with this torture technology, artificial telepathy technology that they can harass you with, where they broadcast their voice directly to you and nobody else can hear. Only you can hear their voice, and they're using like these signals and sounds and to like affect your blood pressure and give you like popping in your brain to make your brain feels like it's filling up, and sometimes it feels like it's burning.
I'm disgusted that this is being done to my own citizens. I did not agree to work on these programs for that purpose. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how can they pipe pains into your head? Remember, we were talking about cloning, brain heterodyning is the actual word, which means modulation of other brain signals within yours. So it's almost like two people are living in the same head.
The people that are being victimized by this technology are hearing the voices of people that are obviously watching them. Oftentimes they'll know the names of these voices because it's a two-way communication system. So they're hearing the people doing the surveillance talk to each other as well as talk to them. Typically it's their whereabouts in a room is being described, what they're dressed like is being described.
So it's kind of a form of harassment then.
Well, and that's exactly what the loose term for it is, electronic harassment.
So they're not necessarily trying to pretend that they're God. They're just really trying to harass this person and push them over the edge.
Exactly.
The more people that speak out about it, and the more people that have their voices heard, and the more people that don't give up and support each other, we're going to be able to be strong and make it through it.
It's making people look crazy. Like, people are coming out and saying, like, we're dealing with this, and people are just thinking, like, they don't believe it. And they're just looking at it like, we think this person is crazy. And it's causing, like, they're not stopping. It's honestly like there's no way to prove that you're getting harassed. That's why they're able to just keep doing this. You can't prove that you're getting, that this is really happening to you. You can't record it. You can't record their voice. There's no way to pick it up.
That was one of the electrical shocks that they give me.
They talk to me all day long, in my head, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
It was persistent.
High-pitched sound.
Very, very loud.
Those who heard it told newspapers it was soon followed by
strong nausea,
an incredible case of vertigo,
dizziness,
excruciating headaches. I know a lot of people still see this as kind of a science fiction novel plot. but it's very, very real. The night of my event, March 17th, 2017, I was standing at the kitchen window. I was washing dishes. And in the midst of washing the dish, all of a sudden, I felt like I was being struck with something. And it was an overwhelming sense of anxiety, pressure, completely inexplicable, and then pain that I have never felt before in my life. All of a sudden, I heard what one of the security officers had said to someone else just a couple of days before. Look, we don't know what's happening, but if you think something's happening, get off the X. And I heard that in my head, get off the X.
Possible symptoms of the mysterious illness called Havana Syndrome.
Mysterious neurological symptoms. Are we guinea pigs? Are we test mice? A little bit, felt like it. It was persistent, very, very loud.
We will leave no stone unturned to get to the bottom of what and who is behind these incidents.
We must call these heinous attacks what they are, and that they are attacks. And the people attacking us need to know the consequences will be severe when we find out who they are, when we get the attribution.
In November, CIA Director Bill Burns went to Russia and met with their spy chief and warned them that if it's them, then they're going to face consequences.
We're hearing from a CIA agent who was attacked, not with a gun or a poison, not by terrorists or a narco-criminal gang, but with a mysterious invisible weapon that terrorizes its victims with a lifetime of excruciating headaches. The attack, apparently used against American diplomats in Cuba as well, starting in late 2016, is thus now called Havana Syndrome, and it has perplexed doctors for years.
It hasn't been easy to accept that an invisible strike took him out of the game.
I rather would have been shot. This was a silent wound. You know,
You would have rather been shot?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's something that I could have shown people. I had a really hard time initially at the agency because people didn't necessarily, the medical staff, the senior medical staff didn't necessarily believe me.
2 senior CIA agents believe they were targeted with a sophisticated microwave weapon.
While I was in the service, I found out that there is an ongoing, non-consensual human experiment, and it's testing a human-machine interface weapon. There is a group here in the United States that are non-consenting human subjects for the testing of this weapon, and they're calling themselves Targeted Individual.
The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind.